All right, hi my friends on TMFA. How is it going? Happy Technic Tuesday to all of you out there on Facebook land. You'll notice today is a little bit different. I am not in fact coming to you live today. Some scheduling and things like that have interrupted my usual flow on Technique Tuesday, but I did not want to leave you without a piece of technique and the ability to also post some questions for accent stuff that you may have. On Technique Tuesday. So you can post any of your questions, as always, in the comments of this video, and I will circle around and be able to answer them as time permits this week. But let's dive right into what I want to talk about today. All right. I want you to think about, for a second or two, what your preferred accent is. All right. Now, we've done some work here, and here, I'm going to get my flashcards out because you guys know me. All right. Here it comes. Boom, what's your accent? And beyond what's your accent, upside down, preferred accent. All right? So think about these two things real quick. And if you've been, attending my Facebook Lives over the last 4, 5, 6 months, you're going to have an idea of what this is. If you are like, I'm not sure what my preferred accent is, or even how to find out, go and do a search on the TMFA page, and you will find, at least I think I've done this exercise 2 or 3 times over the last 6 months or so. You're going to find an exercise that takes you through how to discover this. So I want you to do that if you haven't done that yet. But for now, just take a second and write down, what is my preferred accent? All right, write it down on a piece of paper, or if you're like me, you're going to write it down on note cards that you just have all over the place. And once you have that accent written down, again, my accent, I'll just describe to you, mostly General American with 2 big scoops of West Texas, where mom's side of the family is from, and upstate New York, where my dad is from, and some British-style vocabulary from my time living abroad in Europe and elsewhere. That's my preferred accent. Now, we've talked a little bit about this from time to time, but I want to give you guys a bigger slice of it today. When I say, what is a general American accent? Because I describe myself having a mostly general American accent. What is it that I mean? And I want you to do some detective work on your preferred accent to discover, how general is my accent? Now, if you are from America, you may have an idea of where your accent fits in just kind of culturally and as your experience as an American. If you're not from America or your first language is not English, this still applies to you, right? Because we can generalize any accent in English. For instance, I can have a general German accent, a general Bolivian accent, right? A general French accent, a general Russian accent. Every accent can be generalized to some extent. So what are we talking about with the general accent? All right, a general accent in any way, shape, or form that we choose to encounter it is an accent that is largely lacking local and demographic features. Things that would let me know, A, you are from a really particular place, and B, you belong to a really specific group of people. All right, with certain characteristics. So, I drew this little guy here. Boom. All right, here we go. So, we have general, local, and demographic. Now, this is not hierarchical. General is not on the top because it's better. This is how I drew it. It's probably my own bias, but it could go anyway. All right, just so long as we have this kind of construct. General, local, and demographic. All right, think about local. Again, local features. What is endemic to a place that I might be from? How much of that place influences my accent? Think about that for a second. How much of the place that I'm from, or the places that I'm from, because it's probably multiple places if you've moved around like I have, like a lot of people have, probably multiple places, or it could just be one if you've been in that place forever. All right, how much is that place influenced my accent? Is there specific verbiage that's endemic to that place? All right. For instance, in Boston, drinking fountain, water fountain, no, bubbler or bubbler. All right. So again, that's a very local feature that doesn't really exist anywhere else than in Boston. Then on top of that, now let's talk about demographic. This is a little bit more difficult, my friends, because demographic is a little bit muddier for most of us. So demographic, think about, for instance, immutable characteristics about oneself. So for instance, we could add race and ethnicity to that. We can add age, certainly, to that. We can add gender to that. We can add sexual preference to that. Well, we can add eye color if we wanted to, hair color, facial hair or not. You know, these things are all part of demographic things. I like to think more broadly and then get more specific. So age, for instance, that's a big one. Gender and sexual preference and identity, those things are also pretty formative in terms of demographic features of accents. And then race, ethnicity, that kind of breakdown as well. In America especially, our accents tend to be divided more strongly by ethnicity and race than elsewhere in the world. Though it's not, it's not exclusive here to America. That just tends to be how we tend to see things. The lens, the American linguistic bias that we tend to have, tends to like to break things down by race and ethnicity. So just know that you may be thinking one or the other as you try to explore for yourself. What are my demographic features that I possess in terms of my accent? How would I describe that? All right. So what I want you to do, my friends, so I want you to take about 5 minutes here, all right, once this video is going to end. And I want you to just do this little exercise, all right? Write down for yourself, draw this shape, all right? And then write down what you think your demographic and local features are. And if you have any general features, things that are kind of broadly applicable to everybody who kind of speaks the way you speak, potentially. All right? These may be very difficult for you to figure out. That's fine. Don't worry about getting it right. Be an explorer, get curious, and go from there. All right? Then create your list and see if you can maybe put yourself somewhere in this little map. Like I usually put myself here-ish. All right? Mostly general with, I think, some more local features. Again, West Texas, upstate New York, those two things, all right? But there's an argument to be made to maybe scoot me over more towards demographics. I'm a white guy, all right? Kind of middle-aged-ish white guy. So, like, these kind of things, I could belong to those demographic groups as well. Millennial, graybeard millennial, I could be in that group as well. So there's lots that we can sort of give or take, which kind of elements of this we want to focus on. But just do your best. You could even mark yourself a few places here if you wanted. All right? I just want you to get curious because we got to get to know your accent really well because that's how we get from a place to the target accent. We're always starting with yours. So do this exercise. All right, my friends, I will be back next week. In the meantime, if you have any questions, any accent stuff that you want to dig into with me, go to my website, dialectcoachchrislang.com. Talk to my very friendly chatbot. Leave your information there. We'll schedule a time to have a free Zoom consultation where we can talk about your accent training and get you set up on a plan. All right, my friends, that's all for now. Have a great week. I will see you next Technique Tuesday.